Delhi's air quality is hazardous. There's a thick blanket of smog engulfing Delhi NCR. The Commission for Air Quality Management has activated Stage 4 of the Graded Response Action Plan, or GRAP. According to data from the CPCB, the AQI recorded at 7 a.m. this morning was 483 in the Delhi NCR. Under GRAP, the entry of trucks into Delhi is banned. BS6 diesel trucks are banned as well. Construction and demolition activities are prohibited, and schools have shifted to online classes for most students. These measures have been taken after the AQI hit the 500 mark. Now, every year, the AQI in Delhi NCR spikes after Diwali, but very high AQI levels are seen all year round. The AQI falls during the rainy season, but by and large, Delhi remains the most polluted national capital in the world. And the reason, according to the CSC, vehicular pollution. That's the top pollutant in the city, accounting for 51% of pollution from all local emission sources. This is followed by construction dust and industries. So why are the measures taken after the AQI worsens? Why are these measures taken after the air pollution in Delhi, the vehicular and construction dust, not tackled round the year? If GRAP measures only BS4 onwards, cars are not allowed and no diesel cars are allowed, then why allow them around the year, all year long? And how are other countries tackling construction dust? China has faced the same problem. They've also seen an increase in cars and in construction. Yet after the 2016 black smog days, pollution in Beijing has been reduced considerably due to strict measures. So what needs to be done to move the government to act on pollution? To talk about this, I have with me Dr. Sanjeev Agrawal, Additional Director, CPCB, Dr. Sunil Naagar, Consultant and Unit Head, Department of Respiratory Medicine at the Accord Hospital, Dr. Shiv Kumar Dube, former advisor, Research Project at TERI, and I have in my studio with me my colleague Deepak Badana. Deepak, yet another day when the AQI seems like a cricket test match, hitting 500 today.
It's insane how the situation is. I mean, I was outside less than half an hour ago and my eyes are still watering. And you can see there are signs, everybody's eyes are swollen, people are suffering from throat allergies. This is something, the severity of pollution this year is something on a different level altogether. And it's high time that some measures are taken to alleviate the situation.
Absolutely. The all-time high recorded this year. But Dr. Sanjeev Agrawal, I want to come to you first. This is a pollution, the pollution in Delhi, air pollution in Delhi is a round-the-year problem. Why is it that we only seem to wake up in winters when it becomes completely unbearable? And why is this problem literally kicked down the road every year after year after year? We don't seem to have come to the, let's say, the 2016 moment that China saw, after which air pollution was tackled on an iron footing with a very determined approach. What's holding us from doing something like what China did after 2016?
You see, as I already informed many times, there are 4 major steps required that vehicular pollution control, vehicle construction and demolition, biomass burning, and another industrial waste. Small scale industries which are very, very problematic and giving a pollution. So now come to the first, this situation become GRAP 4 situation. Already I informed 15 days ago that GRAP 4 will come very soon, because this is the situation become very smoggy or very smoky, both ways. So smoke and dust and pollution, they mix together and they form a cocktail, and that cocktail basically is giving a problem. So what you have observed that 7 a.m. in the morning, that is due to that winter season. Many people are small fire they will do, either coal or they will use the biomass. So that is the smoke which is not basically dispersion will not be held. So because the temperature is very low and mixing height is very low, so there is no dispersion. That is why the smoggy situation or smoky situation you can see. It is just like a because I just landed from flight and I could not see Delhi, and just arrived at my home. I found that it is a situation is very, very bad.
Is very bad, doctor. In fact, I was in the car and I couldn't see Delhi either. So I think we're in the same boat. Irrespective of whether you're in an aircraft or in a car, you can't seem to see the national capital, Delhi. But Dr. Dube, we were talking about air pollution in Delhi being a round-the-year problem, and the fact that these are all vehicular emissions. More than 50% of the emissions in Delhi are generated by vehicles, and it so happens that Delhi has more vehicles than all the other Indian metros put together. That's been the case for several decades now. But why are we not tackling this at its root, which is vehicular pollution, which is to cut down on automobile emissions by enforcing all those restrictions that we've spoken about under GRAP, which only seem to come into effect for a couple of days when it becomes unbearable. Why can't we do this round the year, Dr. Dube?
If you have to do that, then you should have a proper implementation machinery,
right,
which we lack on that.
Right.
And in rest of the year, this problem is not much because of the hot weather we have and strong surface winds are running. So we don't face such things around the year. Only when there is an inversion of temperature takes place, this happens. And this is not only in Delhi, rather I'll say it is in North India part above Gwalior and above.
Right.
So since Delhi is being the maximum polluted area, it is because maximum attention is being given to this. If you have your vision outside Delhi area,
yes,
you will find the same problem. So this is basically, first of all, it's a weather problem also, and number of vehicles are very high. Because of number of vehicles are very high, this situation is becoming more and more unmanageable.
Dr. Sunil Naagar, I want to bring you in on this. We are living through this for the last couple of weeks now. Very high pollution levels in Delhi. It's set to continue for the next 5 or 6 days as well. These record highs of AQI, 500 plus AQI. What are the kind of patients that you are seeing in your hospital on a daily basis? Is it different from what you saw, say, last year around the same time?
Definitely, these days we have increased number of the patient with URTI. Basically, they're complaining sore throat and cough that has not been subsided by any of the medications.
Yes.
Usually, our old patient of COPD and ILD patient are difficult in breathing has been increased. Even the number of the cases for stroke and for the cardiac MI has also been increased because particulate matter 2.5 that we're talking about, they reaches to our lung and sometimes they crosses the blood-brain barrier and eventually can lead to cardiac risk factors and cardiovascular risk factor presenting as stroke or MI, that is cardiac arrest. These patients has been recently increased and annually, because in November and December, because of the smog and other pollution factors, these cases have increased and they leading to increase in medical burden also. Secondly, the respiratory cases are difficult to treat these days, and usually what we are seeing is the admission has also increased and the OPD has also increased because of the respiratory symptoms.
Death by breath, as we're calling this segment, Deepak. I mean, this is a recurring phenomenon year after year. But the strange thing about this, Deepak, is the fact that we don't seem to have the ability to grab the bull by its horns. GRAP.
I think we're not even looking at it seriously. It's only that one part of the year that it's a seasonal issue. But let me bring your attention to the impact of such, circumstances. Consider this, that India has some of the youngest populations in this world.
Absolutely.
Imagine the impact,
the largest
not just
youth
the elderly,
demographic, absolutely,
but on young children.
Right.
And, it has devastating impact on their health. Imagine young 2-3-year-old children.
You just heard it from Dr. Naagar, the fact that how, the the particulate matter PM 2.5 is able to cross the blood-brain barrier and enter the bloodstream of all of Delhiites, and certainly no one's immune to this unless you're sitting in some kind of a hyperbaric chamber. But Dr. Shiv Kumar Dube, the measures that Dr. Sanjeev Agrawal suggested, the fact that we need some kind of a regulatory authority to literally crack down on vehicular pollution, of the kind, again, going back to the Chinese model, which is possibly not the best model given the kind of system that they have there, but for the purposes of our viewers who've seen those smog images out of Beijing, and you don't see those anymore in 2024, what is the kind of regulatory measures that you need round the year, Dr. Dube, to make sure we don't suffer like this, like frogs in boiling water every November and December in Delhi? Dr. Dube.
Yeah, my point of view is that there are a lot of good regulations are available with us, but the most important thing is that we are not able to implement them properly. Any pollution coming out of the vehicle has to be controlled at its emission level itself. Government has made a lot of regulations, but as I have said, a lot of unobserved, unmonitored vehicles are still plying on the roads. And what Delhi government has done, that it should not run in Delhi. But Delhi is not alone. Delhi is associated with NCR region.
Yes.
And NCR region is surrounded by state area.
Yes.
Where and at that point, at that level, the implementation is almost nil. Whosoever wants can register its vehicle.
Yes.
Whether it is polluting or non-polluting. Government has gone to the extent that any vehicle of, for example, petrol, more than 15 years has to be scrapped.
Right.
But this is not a right measure. In spite of that, it is not a wisdomful. I have seen lot of vehicles having pollution level, emission level below norms, and they are being scrapped.
Right.
So wisdom should come to the place that
stricter implementation of polluting vehicles. You need to literally scrap this thing. We are talking about GRAP, but we need to be talking more about scrap. And Dr. Sanjeev Agrawal, this Supreme Court has just pulled up the Delhi government for delaying this implementation of GRAP. Why does the government not have a plan on this yet? Why does it delay? Why does it not have a pollution control body that's more proactive and cracks down on all of these violations, like offending polluting vehicles and such? Dr. Agrawal.
Yeah, you're right, because you see, the regulatory agencies are basically supposed to do it, but in many states I found that even in Delhi state, because Delhi has come under the Delhi Pollution Control Committee, Pollution Regulatory
Yes.
Authorities Pollution Control Committee, and I worked there for 3 months as a consultant also. I found that they are not very active and whatever the things they should initiate very early, they are basically not initiating in time. So this is a implementation problem. Dr. Dube is right. And one more important thing I want to tell, this is one thing I have seen in Beijing in 2016.
Yes.
When I visited there, I found that the biggest problem of the vehicles, the heavy trucks and heavy vehicles, they stopped outside the Beijing area. So, and whatever you want to carry, you carry in a different way,
Right.
different mode of transport. They don't allow any trucks, any vehicles into the Beijing area. So this is what happening long back when I visited there. I think this some kind of we have to think differently, and we have to think very seriously, because nobody is serious in Delhi's air pollution, and we should take care. Another important thing is that since several years I was saying that on the roadsides pavement should be there, and so resuspension of road dust should not be there.
Right.
What is happening? Basically, when the vehicles are moving, one side is polluting, another is resuspension of dust is very
The
high.
dust which is rising because of the vehicular activity.
Yeah, vehicles are basically grinding
Yes.
the particles. So that grinding happening, and is resuspension of dust is becoming more and more.
Yes.
We have
Yes.
accounted, I think, 42% long back.
Right.
So suppose we do only two things or three things at a time. That is the biomass burning early morning. People should not burn
Yes.
because of wind. They are burning the biomass. Another thing is that vehicles should be stopped, should be controlled in such a way. Some policy should be there.
Yes.
Vehicles movement should be stopped. If people are saying that it is my right, I cannot, how can I not use vehicle?
Right.
But some policy should be there. And then third thing is that stopping the biomass burning. It is not parali. Basically, it is a
Yes.
local burning happening due to this. What is happening that all smog and
Yes.
smoke both are not dispersing out,
Right.
and they form the smoky situation where you cannot, visibility is very low. You cannot see anyone.
Right.
So that is the biggest problem.
Right.
I think now the situation will become more and more worse when the temperature will become 18 degree,
Yes.
and then that really smoke formation will be there.
Right. Absolutely.
That is, the formation is very high.
The worst is yet to come. And Dr. Sunil Nagar, what is the advice that you give your patients and indeed to our viewers? What would you advise them, given the fact that you're looking at another 5 or 6 days of severe air pollution in the air, and none of these measures that our experts have outlined seem to be able to kick in the next couple of days. But what do you recommend that people do immediately in the next week to stay away from this kind of hazardous death by breath, as we're calling it?
So first of all, we will request each and every person who is weighing or any other person also that they should avoid going to outside, especially in the early morning and in late night, because at that very moment the smog is at its extreme.
Right.
Usually in the afternoon, if they want to go for any day-to-day activity, they can go. Early in the morning, they should not go for, especially for the morning walk. They should avoid doing morning walk these days. And whenever they have to go outside for any diet requirement, they should always wear mask while going outside. And they should stay, all the respiratory patient or the patient with comorbidities, especially elderly and children, even the pregnant females,
Yeah.
should stay in a closed door place with the air purifier, if at all it's available. Or they should avoid all these stuff. They should have a healthy diet that should be taken. If they are going outside, they will be required to wear masks and do gargles. Even with the normal saline, gargles will be good if for the sore throat. And if at all possible, then betadine gargles should also be done.
Right. Okay.
These all measures will help you to prevent from upper respiratory tract infection and getting sick these days.
Yes.
So
Thank you very much, Dr. Nagar. I'm afraid we're completely out of time here, but thank you, gentlemen, for joining us to talk about this very burning issue right here, the most polluted national capital in the world. That's Delhi right now, which is suffering as we speak.